Now we'll continue with our patient journey who had a peripheral nerve block for surgery. We've entered the initial basic demographic info and came up with this screen of the patient information with a unique identifier number. Now there are a couple of icons in the corner here. One is a sign of a person with an arrow mark which is grayed out at the moment, which is a button which suggests that this patient whether is ready for upload for analysis or not. It is grayed out because there is no information available. A minimum of three sections needs to be completed, that is pre-op, block and recovery, in order for a patient case to be uploaded for analysis. You don't want to keep all the patient records in your system here, as it would cloud the whole of your screen and it will be hard to follow up. So you need to upload the data regularly into the cloud for analysis. There's also this icon with a calendar sign and a time sign which indicates who entered the data into the system. Especially in a multi-user system in a department, it is possible to identify which user entered which part of the data. Now let's get into the patient that you have entered. So this is the screen that you have done, which is the basic information that you've already entered. Now let's go to the pre-op section. Now here you can see there is a few details that needs to be entered, and you can click on the edit button here, which comes up with what operation the patient needed. Say, for example, in this case, it was a right shoulder arthroscopic repair. Thanks to the automated writing here, we can enter all these details. Then you can click on the specialty. There are different specialties, and in this case, it is orthopedics. If you don't know, you can enter other and you can enter the details. So click and select this operation category, whether elective or emergency. Then select the ASA grade, which could include any of these. Now, there are some comorbid conditions that are associated with different outcomes with regional anesthesia or peripheral nerve blocks. We do collect some of these data which are useful in analyzing practice and outcomes. If the patient has got diabetes or peripheral neuropathy, aspirin or clopidogrel, or on anticoagulation and coagulopathy. Select whatever is appropriate. Next comes the block purpose. As you can see, it is a mandatory field, and if you need what information, you can click on the I button here, which indicates what does a sole anesthetic and analgesic mean. It means that the peripheral nerve block provides complete surgical anesthesia. If you intend to give blocks for analgesia only and then provide either CNB or general anesthetic, then you will choose analgesia only. So in this case, I did the block for analgesia only. Now in that case, and then I go on to enter what was the patient status during the block, whether the patient was awake, sedated, or general anesthetic, or in some cases, it could be under a spinal anesthetic. Now, if I've done the block under general anesthetic, I choose this. If it is done under sedation, I choose sedation and select the sedation score, which could be mild, moderate, or deep sedation. You can choose the appropriate ones. And then you go on to select the anesthesia plan, whether it was a general anesthesia, sedation, neuraxial block, or if block was the sole anesthetic and nothing else was provided. In this current case of the shoulder surgery, I gave general anesthetic, and this is what I've chosen. Now, you can also see that we do collect data on some safety parameters, and some of them are auto-populated based on the previous entry. But one of the important thing that has to happen with each and every case is stop before block to check the correct side. So each time you do a block, you shout out and make sure you're doing the block on the correct side and click on whether you've done it or not, and then click on save. You can see all the data that you have entered so far has come here. And when you go back to the screen, you can see that the pre-op section is now green, which means it is complete.